So today we are going to discuss about this particular IELTS reading passage, how to make wise decisions. So I thought of doing hand solving early, so it will be easy to understand rather than just showing via the display and all. So we will do it together. So let's start off. So the passage name is how to make wise decisions. So in this set we have the question types like MCQs, fill up type of question along with options, true, false, not given type of question. These are the question categories. So let's start over from MCQs. So I'm using a red pen for the better clarity. So the first question, what point does the writer makes in the first paragraph? So we just want to search out the information in first paragraph only. So the what point does the writer make about? So what point does the writer make in the first paragraph? Rather than just going through the options, it's better to read out the passage first. Grab the real information first. Across cultures and wisdom has been considered one of the most revered human qualities, although the truly wise may seem few and far between. Empirical research examining wisdom suggests that it isn't an exceptional trait possessed by a small handful of philosophers. After all, in fact, the latest studies suggest that most of us have the ability to make a wise decision given the right context. So here we can see that although the truly wise may seem few and far between, empirical research examining wisdom suggests that it isn't an exceptional trait. It isn't an exceptional trait possessed by a small handful philosopher. After all, the latest studies suggest that most of us have the ability to make wise decision. The meaning of the line is that wisdom seems to be possessed by a few people, but in reality, most of us have the ability to make wise decision. So previously, they consider that the great philosophers, they can able to take wise decision. But in reality, most of us have the ability to make wise decisions. So we can check out the options. Wisdom appears to be unique to the human race. No, the basic assumption about wisdom may be wrong. Yes. So we can read out the remaining two. Concept of wisdom may be depend on the society we belong to. There is still much be discovered from the nature of wisdom. Nothing they mentioned regarding. So one of this particular option is not given actually. So the answer is a basic assumption about wisdom may be wrong. So the basic assumption was the great thinkers or the great philosophers can make wise decision, but in reality everyone can make. So the answer is B. So here the answer is B. Next one, what does Igor Grossman suggest about the ability to make wise decisions? What does Igor Grossman suggest about ability to make wise decision? Okay, so we can continue our reading. It appears that experimental, situational and cultural factors are even more powerful in shaping wisdom than previously imagined, says by associate professor. Yeah. So the dialogue is, it appears that experimental, situational and cultural factors are even more powerful. These factors are even more powerful in shaping wisdom than previously imagined. So here we can check out the options. It can vary greatly from one person to another. Earlier research into it was based on unreliable data. The importance of certain influences on it was underestimated. Various branches of psychology define it according to their own criteria. So here The Igor Grossman said that certain factors are more powerful than previously imagined. It appears that experimental, situational, and cultural factors are even more powerful in shaping wisdom than previously imagined. That means Igor Grossman said that certain factors are more powerful than previously imagined. Hence, their importance are underestimated. Okay, so the importance of certain influences on it was underestimated. So answer C. Certain influences on importance of certain influences on it was underestimated. According to the third paragraph, Grossman claims that the level of wisdom an individual shows. Claim that the level of wisdom an individual shows. So in the third paragraph, it seems that it is not so much that some people simply possess wisdom and others lack it, but that our ability to reason wisely depend on a variety of external factors. It is impossible to characterize thought process is attributed to wisdom without considering the role of contextual factors, explained Grossman. In other words, wisdom is not solely an inner quality, but rather unfold as a function of situations people happen to be. Some situations are more likely to promote wisdom than others. So here he said that this wisdom is not an inner quality or intrinsic quality. It is completely based on the situation also. Based on the situation only, people promote wisdom. Some situations are more likely to promote wisdom than others. So it is clearly given that wisdom changes according to the situation. So here we can see the options. Can be greater than they think it is, will be different in different circumstances. Circumstances means situation. So the answer is B. Anyway, go through the remaining also. May be determined by a particular aspect of their personality. No. Should develop over time as a result of their life experience, not at all mentioned. So here it is completely based on the situation. So the answer is B. The next question, what is described in fifth paragraph? So after third paragraph, they are mentioning about fifth only, not fourth. So for the remaining sections, we need to check out the fourth also. Okay, so always think about that. In the first section, they skip any particular paragraph, means in the second section, we need to read from there. So what is described in fifth paragraph? So we need to go through the fifth paragraph. Grossman and his colleagues have also found that one of the most reliable ways to support wisdom in our own day-to-day decision is to look at scenarios from third-party perspective. Okay, as through given advice to a person. So rather than just thinking or just think from our perspective, we need to think from third-party perspective, like an observer. Research suggests that when adopting a first-person viewpoint, we focus on the focal features of the environment. When we adopt a third person, that means like an observer viewpoint, we reason more broadly and focus more on interpersonal moral ideas such as justice and impartiality. Looking at problems from this more expansive viewpoint appears to foster cognitive processes related to wise decision. That means if we are approaching a problem like a third party, that means like an observer, means we can make good decision, wise decision. We can make expansive viewpoint related to the situation and we can make good wise decision. So let's check out the options. A difficulty encountered when attempting to reason wisely. An example of the type of person who is likely to reason wisely. No. A controversial view about the benefits of reasoning wisely. Sometimes. A recommended strategy that can help people to reason. Yeah, he is recommending a strategy that we need to think like a third person. So the answer is D, recommended strategy. So that's it regarding our MCQ type of question. Now we can continue to the next set. complete the summary using the list of words A to J. So they just given some options in a box. Whenever the fill up type of question along with option means take care about synonyms. The set will be full of synonyms, so we need to take care about that. Igor Grossman and colleagues have established 4 characteristics which enable us to make wise decision. It is important to have a certain degree of dash regarding the extent of our knowledge and to take into account dash which may not be the same as our own. We should also able to take a broad dash of any situation. Actually, if they are giving this in one particular paragraph, and after that they just leave some space and given the remaining, which means this will be in 2 different paragraphs. So we need to search like that only. Now we left one particular paragraph here, the 4th paragraph. So we need to start over from here. Okay. Igor Grossman and colleagues have established 4 characteristics. 4 characteristics, whether they are mentioning about the 4 characteristics or not. Coming up with the definition of wisdom is challenging, but Grossman and his colleagues have identified 4 key characteristics as a part of a framework. Yes, 4 key characteristics as a part of the framework of wise reasoning. One is intellectual humility or recognition of limit of our own knowledge. Okay, so here it is important to have a certain degree of dash regarding the extent of our knowledge. Extent of our knowledge. Extent means limit, the synonym. This is a synonym only. So limit of our own knowledge, extent of our own knowledge. So recognition of limit of our own knowledge. So it's given in the sentence. So one is intellectual humility or recognition of the limits of our own knowledge. So instead of limits, they mention here as extent. So the answer will be humility. So they won't give the option humility directly. So we need to think about the synonym of humility. So humility means opinion? No. Modesty. Yes, modesty. Humility means modesty. Hence, certain degree of humility is required. A certain degree of modesty is required. So the answer is D. Then, and to take into account dash which may not be the same as our own. To take into account dash which may not be the same as our own. We should also be able to take a broad dash of any situation. So we need to continue. Another is appreciation of perspective wider than the issue at hand. Perspectives wider than the issue at hand. Sensitivity to the possibility of change into social relation is also key, along with compromise or integration of different attitudes and belief. Integration of different attitudes and belief. So take into account, actually the answer is belief only, belief. So along with compromise or integration of different attitudes and belief. That is the thing mentioned here. Along with compromise or integration of different attitudes or belief. So instead of belief, they mentioned the word opinion here. So the answer is opinion. Okay. Integration of different attitudes and belief more, we should include different opinion of others. So instead of belief, they just use the word opinion. Then we should also be able to take a broad dash of any situation. We should also able to take a broad dash. It should be in this particular paragraph only. So we need to go back. One is intellectual humility. That is the first answer we just marked. Knowledge, and another is appreciation of perspective wider. Instead of broader, they mentioned it as wider. Broad, they mentioned wide. So here it is perspective. Instead of perspective, here they used the word view. So the answer is C. Previously, mistakenly I marked here and I just put wider. Okay. So view, that is the answer. Now we can continue. Grossman also believes that it is better to regard scenarios with dash. Okay, it should be in the next paragraph. Grossman and his colleagues have also founded one of the most reliable ways to support wisdom is our own day-to-day decision is to take the scenario from third-party perspective. So third-party perspective. Third-party perspective means we should think as an observer. So the answer is third-party perspective. So instead of third-party perspective is a word they use here. Is that confidence? No. Problems? No. Objectivity? Yes. Objectivity means, so we should understand the meaning of objectivity. So objective in the sense a person who is taking a judgment not influenced by the personal things, okay, or the personal opinions. So he should consider the other respective representing factors or the other circumstances. That is called objective, like an observer, like a third party. So the answer is objectivity. By avoiding the first person perspective, we focus more on dash and on other moral ideas. Okay. Third person viewpoint, we focus on the focal features of the environment. We adopt a third person observer viewpoint. We reason more broadly and focus more on interpersonal and moral ideas such as justice and impartiality. Okay, so moral ideas they already mentioned here. Other moral ideas. So the answer is impartiality. Partiality. So the answer is here justice and impartiality. So here they used the word like range, experiences, reasons, fairness. Yes, fairness, because impartial means without partiality. The person should be fair. So fairness. 35 we can mark it as G. So that's it regarding our fill-up type of question. So whenever you are getting fill-up type of question along with the option, you need to take care about the synonym too. Now we can continue to the next set. True, false, not given type of question. So we can read out the question. Students participating in the job prospect experiment could choose one of two perspectives to take. We need to continue our reading. We don't want to go back now, so we can. So we don't want to go back. Okay, so where they are talking about experiments, we need to check out from there. For example, in one experiment took place during the peak of recent economic recession, graduating college seniors were asked to reflect one of their job prospects. Yeah, students were instructed to imagine their career, either if you were a distant observer or before your own eyes, as you were right there. Participants in the group assigned to distant observer. Distant observer in the sense they want to imagine. Rather than taking over the role, they want to imagine. Displayed more wisdom related reasoning, okay, than did participant in a control group. Okay. Students participating in the job prospects experiment could choose one of two perspectives to take. So they don't want to take any role. So here we can see that the participants in the group assigned to the distant observer. Participants were assigned with perspective, not they could choose the role and or they could only imagine their career. They don't want to cover the role, they can just imagine like a distant observer. So the answer is false. Then moving towards the next one, participants in the couples experiment were aware that they were taking part in a study about wise reasoning. So here where they mentioned regarding the couple experiment. In another study, couples in the long-term romantic relationship were instructed to visualize an unresolved relationship conflict either through the eyes of an outsider or from their own perspective. Participants then discussed the incident with their partner for 10 minutes, after which they wrote down their thoughts about it. Couples in the other's eye condition were significantly more likely to rely on wise reasoning. So here the distance observer displayed more wisdom related reasoning. So here the couples in other side made the wise reasoning. Okay, perspective reasoning for the compromise compared to the couple. Actually, the option is not given only. There is no information given in the passage. There is a discussion about a study on couples in the eighth paragraph, but there is no any information on whether the couples were aware or not aware about the experiment. They just explained about the experiment only, but they didn't mention anything about whether they were aware or unaware. So the answer is not given. Next one, in the couples experiment, the length of the couples relationship had an impact on the reason. Length of the couples relationship. No, they just mention only about, they want to discuss about the things for 10 minutes. They didn't mention anything about the relationship length, and also again it is not given. So the next one, in both experiments, the participants who looked at the situation from a more detached viewpoint turned to make wiser decision. So yes, because here also we read like that only, the person who are in a broadened view, that means distance observer, displayed more wisdom related reasoning. Here also others eye likely to make wise reasoning. So the answer is true. In both experiments, the participants who looked at the situation from a more detached viewpoint. Detached viewpoint in the sense others viewpoint, or like a distant observer. The word used here now, distant observer, that means from others viewpoint. So participants who viewed the situation from others viewpoint make wiser decision in the both the experiment. So the answer is true. And the last question, Grossman believes that a person's wisdom is determined by their intelligence to only a very limited extent. Determined by their intelligence only by very limited extent. Okay, very limited extent. So we need to continue our reading. Okay, we might associate wisdom with intelligence or particularly personality trait, but research shows only a small positive relationship between wise thinking and crystallized intelligence. Okay, there is a small positive relation, limited positive. So here they, in the question they used the word very limited extent. So here they used the word small positive relationship. Actually in always in true statement they will use synonyms. Okay, so we must associate wisdom with intelligence, particular personality traits. The research shows only a small positive relationship between wise thinking and crystallized intelligence. Okay, small positive relationship means limited extent. So the answer is true again. So that's it regarding this particular that's it regarding our particular passage, how to make wise decision. I hope you got some idea how to solve Phillips, true, false and MCQ type of question. So we will come out with more discussion. So if it is hand solved means I think that will be more understandable rather than just showing in display, computer display and all. So we will come out with more discussions like this. So stay tuned for more updates. And if you find these videos are really helpful means don't forget to subscribe our channel and click on the bell icon nearby. And please give a thumbs up too. Thank you.